All right. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what you did this weekend?
All right, this weekend I went to the Texas, was it A-kon regional?
Yeah, A-kon.
I believe. And I got 4th place with this cell structure deck, pretty much.
What does that leader do?
This leader, it pretty much just says put an Android underneath it, cycle a card, pop a 1-drop. So you're pretty much just going to put it underneath there, draw a card, and pop a 1-drop, and no one will ever have a 1-drop against you. So.
Okay, and it's awakening condition?
Awakening condition is once you have 3 androids underneath it, you awaken, and you're pretty much guaranteed to do that every time.
Okay, so it's very consistent then.
Yeah, it was like every time I went to turn 2 awaken, it was always there. You're really, it's gonna be really hard to miss it.
Okay, does it have any effects on the awaken side? Anything that's important, or did you not really use those that much? Or
I did sometimes, just because a lot of people would do like counter plays, and then after that I would pop. But there's not a lot of people that's just gonna like leave something out there unless it's like a big big battle card.
Got usually, that Yu-Gi-Oh mentality, bro.
Right. But a lot of times you can deal with that. Like I played 2 black decks this weekend, and both of them played the 8-drop Gogeta against me, and I pretty much had to like dormant that turn that they swung, so it'd be not rested, so I could KO it because it was also a 35k blocker. So like that's when it was like mainly used, but outside of that, just popping to trigger the little 1-drops if they do have something. But a lot of times people were smart enough not to do that.
Okay, well, before we get into your deck profile, what would do you remember what your matchups were?
Oh, I do. They're on that phone. So round 1, I played the Rainbow Bardock deck. I lost a die roll against it. I won that one. Round 2, I played U7. I lost. That guy destroyed me. It took a whole like 10 minutes for a whole match.
Would you say that's your hardest matchup?
Absolutely. That was rough. Then I played another U7 after it, and turns out the way you beat that deck is you win the die roll. Then after that, I played a GT deck. Ended up beating it. My only loss today was that first U7, or that day. And then after that, I played a Trunks Life deck. And then after that, I played the Mirror Match. And then round 7, I played the Gogeta Xeno deck.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get into it.
All right. So the first thing, of course, you play standard package of like 4 Android 17s and 4 18s. And then you play 4 of the card that says, hey, I'm Android 17 and 18, which this card helps a lot against certain matchups. Because if they actually do play little weenie cards and you can pop them, this is a 10k crit, and you're doing a little bit of hand control before you get to your big hand control play.
Right.
And you get to draw a card, so.
Like they either have to take the crit or they have to combo out of it, and then you got your other hand control plays.
Right, so you're like netting a card out of this, like however you need to do it. And then of course this guy looks at top 5, this draws, and then that's going to draw you a card and summon for free and be a 10k crit.
Okay.
Outside of like your 17s and 18s, you play 4 of this cell, and you play 4 of it because if you do KO something, you're definitely going to trigger it.
Okay.
And it plays for free in rest mode, which I did a lot of because I wanted to have active energy during my opponent's turn, because the way I pre-sided for this event. But this one right here, pretty much, if you KO one, you can play it in rest mode. If you KO with a leader skill,
right,
you can play it for free. And then, of course, it has the Union Absorb. This one right here is if your opponent controls no battle cards, you can play it for free in rest mode. It also has the Union Absorb.
Did that come up a lot this weekend? Like
this one, not. Yeah. Oh, hold on. This one did a lot because people were trying to play around this leader, whereas this one did not.
Okay, that's a cool interaction then. So basically, that card can punish your opponent for trying to play around your leader skill, and
right?
Because you can Union Absorb using that too, correct?
Yeah. So if they did play a card, I'm popping it to play this guy. But if they didn't, then I'm getting this guy off. So either way, I'm playing something for free, and then you'll see later on we'll draw 2 cards.
Kind of darned if you do, darned if you don't, ain't it?
Right. So you play 4 of this guy that you don't want to draw, and then you play 3 of this guy that you don't want to draw. And so pretty much this guy Union Absorb, these little guys Union Absorb into this guy, and then this guy Union Absorbs into this one.
Were there any matchups you'd say you didn't want to go straight into the 8-drop?
I think a lot of them I didn't, just because this had barrier. Like a lot of, especially since I played 3 red decks,
right.
I wanted to do this. So they had to have a card that ignored barrier.
Okay, yeah.
This. Plus, like, either way, like this has an ability that's like, like barrier. This has an ability that says can't be removed or tries to protect itself when it's removed.
Yeah,
so
they
like,
essentially have to hit it twice to get rid of it. Which,
right, and this one right here costs one more to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So like, it both ways. In some matchups, I'm gonna just leave the 16K out. Like that's the only reason I beat the second U7 is because I never went into this guy because all three of them were prized, and then just stuck beating face with 16K barrier.
Kind of worked in your favor though.
Yeah, he didn't see the A-kon like the first guy, and that guy just get that out of here pretty much. Then you play two of this guy because I'm playing this package.
Would you say that you leaned in this card to win a lot?
It just depends because some people play two different ways around this. So like either they'd be like, oh well, turn 5 is coming, I'm gonna do what I can to like dump my hand, and then this card is only gonna get like 2 cards or 3 cards. Or they would have a big hand and then I play this card, that way I can get rid of stuff.
Hey, either way you're getting rid of their hand, so.
Yeah, like that's what I wanted. Like against the Trunks Life guy, he went down to like 6 cards during my turn 5, and I was like, I'm not playing this. I'm just going to do other stuff. So. And
you didn't play a lot of blue this weekend, so you didn't have to worry about God Sealing or anything like that.
No, I only played against one blue deck, and that was that deck. And I made sure to deal with the unison before I did anything else.
Okay, smart.
And then of course you play 4 of the Frieza. I mean, this 5 plus 7. I mean,
yeah, that just leads you straight into your SCR, which you'll get to later.
Yeah,
I think we all know what that is.
Definitely the super combo of choice because there are cards you don't want to draw.
Right,
so
you got to run the SPR and 3 commons for it to work, right?
I mean, absolutely. You got to see at least one. I mean, you play the double striker. I mean, plus you can see it off the 17.
That's also really good because if I'm correct, like, isn't that for the turn? So, like, if you put it on your dual attacker, it would be double strike twice.
Yeah, you just don't get the 10K buff the same.
Right, but it is still double strike. Yeah, so it's better than a Champa.
And then this guy put in work. I like this little dude. It did a really good job. Like,
did you tap a lot of people out with it?
I tapped one guy out with it, but this guy can lead into this guy, I believe. I never did it, but yeah. Yeah,
you can successor using that. Yeah.
I never did it because it never like
came up.
The one time it actually did come up, I was like, I don't want something. I was playing a deck and I was playing around having one big swing and having a bunch of different little swings.
Right. It was better to put like an immense amount of pressure than just two. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But yeah, that's my SCR of choice. So.
Yeah, that's the best SCR for the deck. You can get your opponent's hand down to 0 so fast with this, especially with this unison.
Absolutely. I mean, even if they deboard, I had one guy double deboard me, and then I still pretty much like went through all of that, like that turn.
That's something I've noticed playing this deck. Debora doesn't put in a lot of work compared to other hand control decks because they're just, I mean, you can only have so many Deboras.
Right, and like, the other cell decks had crazy text for people's Debora, so like, even if you're playing against that, they'd have a tech for it, and then you're just losing energy, so there's no reason to do it.
I experienced that personally. I can attest to that.
But yeah, best unison for the deck. That's why it comes in the structure. And then I play 4 of these guys because like I feel like you really want to see this, especially.
So you think 4 of this and 3 dormant's better than 4 dormant, 3 of this?
Man, you're definitely going to see this card. You draw way too much in this deck not to see this card.
And it's a neg 1, so you yeah.
Right, and this card is just a 1-for-1.
Yeah, you
get rid of 2 attacks most of the time.
Exactly, so. Yeah. And it can't be responded like when you're playing the mirrors, like charismatic can't hit it because it doesn't have a cost. So
right, a lot of times against the red decks, one of the guys was playing the Vegeta 1-drop or whatever. So like this did way more work than this did because I'd have to play around it.
Okay.
And then you play 2 of these because I mean it's standard list.
Yeah, and you have to tap 5 for that, guys.
Absolutely.
Everybody, there was a. Yeah, apparently, a few people thought you only had to tap 4.
Yeah, apparently people can't read or something.
Okay, what about the side deck?
All right, so the side deck, this is 2 of the 1-drop Kami.
The one that punishes blue.
Right, yeah.
The green Kami.
The guy holding the camera has those. And then I play 2 of these, which he has the other one of that card too. And then I played 2 of this guy because like, certain matchups I really was like, if they're going to play stuff to like hinder my attacks and whatnot, like the boo and stuff like that, I was like, I kind of want to try that just in case. Plus it's a really good green staple. Never sided it in. I sided in this all day because I'm not gonna lie, I think it was round 3. forgot what Haru was and then learned real quick. So like this card went in immediately after that, and every time a Haru got played afterwards, it was put in the drop area.
Set 3 cards, still putting in work.
And then I played 4 of this guy because just like random road decks. I was like, that doesn't seem bad.
He was really worried about launch and stuff like that, and it seemed really good. He didn't. I don't think you actually like played anything that required you to side this in.
Yeah,
though,
like
did you?
and cooler. Like I feel like that was like
A rival-based decks, yeah.
Yeah, it's just stuff like that.
If you ever played the Android 16 guy, that would have come in.
Yeah, that would have been good too. Then I played 2 of these. I sided them in for my U7 matchups. They weren't bad.
Good against Sin Shenron too.
Yeah, the first U7 guy just kind of laughed at me when I played it.
That's not a good feeling.
No. I played 1 Blue Impulse, which actually was one of the cards. These are the cards I sided most of the day. Just because people keep either rivaling or counterplaying or something, and this deals with stuff. Like against the Bardock player, I hit 3 cards for 1 energy. I mean, that's pretty good. So.
Yeah, that is really good.
And then I played 2 of this guy. This is the Vegeta I was actually playing. I played him because, like, if I'm playing against the Cell deck, I really feel like I want to set up a board to where I don't die. And then, like, if I'm discarding these 2, I'm not paying energy to draw off of them. And then if they do decide to, like, do this, I'm okay with it.
Right, because you didn't expend any energy playing the card.
Right, and, like, I feel like, if I ran into, like, a random, like, Frieza deck or something, this is something else, like a discard or, like, I don't know, just anything else, like anything involving the mirror. I figured people might be playing Rubrians, and the mirror match I did play, he did play Rubrians, and I just pitched these 2 to draw to. So.
Yeah, a lot of the other Cell decks were leaning a lot more heavier into the hand control aspect than you were.
Yeah, I like the basics of it because like it's just straightforward, and I mean there's points that you have to think, but then sometimes it's like your opponent does stuff to play around it, and then you're like, oh, well, I don't have to think about the rest of this turn. So like. Just depends.
Okay. Is there anything else like you might change about the deck moving forward? Yeah, side deck wise, main deck wise.
Well, I don't know. I mean, everything worked out really well. The only thing, dude, your U7 matchup is horrible. Whatever you can do to help it, I'd have to think about it more, but the U7 matchup was rough.
What about the Android 13 that a lot of people were taking? Do you think that you would take that in going forward?
Oh, yeah, that's a really good idea. You just play the Android 13, which is, I mean, it's going to be either a free combo or just like a multicolor energy. That way you can play this for free during your turn 5 and then just stop the Deborahs. That's really good. So.
Right.
But, like, I don't know. This deck is fun. It's really fair, so...
Yeah, I will say that. Playing the 7-drop on turn 5 feels much better than it did back in set 3.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just waiting on somebody to take a 3-drop and a 5-drop in this deck and then play a turn 3. Just mess with some folks.
So, you got any shout-outs you want to make?
Yeah, I want to shout out to my team, Magnolia. That's the only people I really play tested with. Shout out to the people who run the con and stuff because they did a really good job of it. And shout out to all the players I played against this weekend. They had a lot of fun. Shout out to Chris Keith. He also topped to that stupid Janemba deck again. But yeah, that's going to be it.
All right.